She stands on her own husband's chest, wearing a garland of severed heads, with blood dripping from her tongue. But why? Why does the most powerful goddess in Hinduism look like this? Is she a destroyer or a protector? Is she terrifying or compassionate? The answer will change the way you see the divine feminine forever. To understand Kali, you need to understand what she was born to do. And her birth is one of the most dramatic moments in all of Hindu mythology. Long ago, a demon named Mahishasura had conquered the three worlds. He had defeated the gods through a boon that made him virtually invincible. No man and no god could kill him. The gods were desperate. They pooled their collective energy, their Shakti, and from that combined power was born the goddess Durga. She was created as the ultimate warrior, beautiful, fierce, riding a lion, with weapons given by every god. Durga fought Mahishasura and won. She slayed the buffalo demon and restored balance to the universe. The gods celebrated, but the story was far from over, because the demons kept coming. And one day, a demon appeared who was unlike anything the world had ever seen. His name was Raktabeej, and his boon was nightmarish. Every time a drop of his blood touched the ground, a new clone of him would spring up, fully formed, fully armed, and fully ready to fight. One drop of blood meant one new Raktabeej. 10 drops meant 10 new demons. You could cut him 1,000 times and end up fighting 1,000 of him. Durga and her army of divine goddesses fought Raktabeej with everything they had. But the more they wounded him, the more clones appeared. The battlefield was drowning in copies of this one demon. Swords, arrows, tridents, nothing worked. Every wound created a new enemy. The gods watched in horror as the situation spiraled out of control. And then, it happened. Durga's fury reached its peak. Her face turned dark with rage, her eyes blazed with fire, and from her forehead, from the center of her being, emerged a figure that made the entire universe tremble. It was Kali. She was dark as a moonless night. Her eyes were blood red. Her hair was wild, untamed, flowing in all directions. She wore a skirt made of severed demon arms and a garland of 50 human skulls around her neck. Her tongue was long and red, hanging out of her mouth. She had 4 arms, one carrying a sword, one carrying a severed head, and 2 extended in gestures of blessing and fearlessness. Kali looked at Raktabeej and smiled. And what she did next was both brilliant and terrifying. She extended her enormous tongue across the entire battlefield, and as she killed demon after demon, she drank their blood before it could touch the ground. Not a single drop fell. No blood, no clones. She consumed every copy of Raktabeej until only the original was left. And then she devoured him too. The problem was solved. But Kali did not stop. The frenzy of battle had consumed her completely. She was drunk on the blood of demons. She began dancing wildly on the battlefield, crushing everything in her path, demons, soldiers, the earth itself. Her dance of destruction was shaking the foundations of the universe. If she did not stop, she would destroy everything, not just the demons, but the entire creation. The gods were terrified. They begged Shiva to intervene. Only he could calm Kali. Only he had the power and the love to reach her in this state of madness. Shiva tried calling out to her. She did not hear. He tried standing in her path. She did not see. So Shiva did something extraordinary. He lay down on the ground, right in the middle of her dance of destruction. He placed himself directly beneath her feet. And when Kali's foot landed on Shiva's chest, she suddenly stopped. She looked down. She saw her own husband beneath her. The shock pulled her out of her frenzy. She bit her tongue in embarrassment and shame. This is the famous image, Kali standing on Shiva with her tongue out. It is not a picture of violence. It is a picture of realization. It is the moment when destructive rage meets calming love. But what does this story really mean? Because Kali is not just a character in a myth. She is one of the deepest philosophical concepts in all of Hindu thought. Kali's name comes from the Sanskrit word kala, which means time. She is time itself. And time is the one force that destroys everything without exception. Youth, beauty, wealth, empires, mountains, stars, everything falls to time. Kali is that unstoppable force. She is the truth that most people are afraid to face, that nothing lasts forever. But here is what most people miss. Time does not just destroy. Time also creates space for new things. A flower dies so a fruit can grow. Winter kills so spring can be born. Kali destroys, but her destruction is not meaningless violence. It is transformation. She removes what is old, corrupt, and no longer serving its purpose so that something new and better can take its place. This is why Kali is not evil. She is fierce, yes. She is terrifying, yes. But she is also deeply, profoundly compassionate. She destroys the ego. She destroys illusion. She destroys the false stories we tell ourselves about who we are. And in that destruction, she reveals the truth. Look at her iconography more closely. The garland of 50 skulls represents the 50 letters of the Sanskrit alphabet. She is wearing language itself. She is the mother of all expression, all knowledge, all communication. The severed heads she carries represent the destruction of ego, the cutting away of our false identities. Her dark skin represents the void beyond creation, the formless reality that exists before and after all things. Her 4 arms represent the complete cycle of creation. The sword cuts through ignorance. The severed head represents the destruction of ego. The other 2 hands offer blessings and say, "Do not fear." She destroys and she protects at the same time. That is her nature. That is the nature of time itself. And then there is the relationship between Kali and Shiva. It is one of the most beautiful spiritual concepts in Hinduism. Shiva is pure consciousness, still, silent, unchanging awareness. Kali is Shakti, the active, dynamic energy that makes everything happen. Without Shiva, Kali has no ground to stand on. Without Kali, Shiva is a lifeless corpse. In fact, there is a saying, without Shakti, Shiva becomes Shava, a dead body. This is why Kali stands on Shiva. She is not dominating him, she is activating him. He is the foundation, she is the force. He is the canvas, she is the painting. Together, they are the complete picture of reality, consciousness and energy, stillness and movement, silence and sound. The worship of Kali is one of the oldest and most powerful traditions in Hinduism, especially in Bengal, Assam, and eastern India. The Dakshineswar temple near Kolkata, made famous by the great Saint Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, is one of the most important Kali temples in the world. Ramakrishna called Kali Ma, mother. He wept for her like a child. He saw visions of her. He talked to her as if she were standing right in front of him. And when people asked him how he could worship such a fierce and terrifying goddess, Ramakrishna laughed. He said, "You see terror because you are looking with the eyes of fear. I see love because I am looking with the eyes of a child. A child is never afraid of its mother, no matter what the mother looks like. That is the secret of Kali. She only frightens those who are attached to their ego, their possessions, their false identities. If you come to her with an open heart and say, 'Take everything away, show me the truth,' she becomes the most loving, protective, nurturing force you will ever encounter." Kali also plays a central role in Tantra, the spiritual tradition that seeks to find the divine in all aspects of life, including the aspects that mainstream religion considers dark or taboo. In Tantra, Kali is the supreme goddess. She represents the total acceptance of reality as it is, without filtering, without sanitizing, without pretending that life is only sunshine and flowers. Life includes death. Beauty includes decay. Creation includes destruction. And Kali holds all of it in her arms without flinching. She does not ask you to look away from the dark parts of existence. She asks you to stare directly into them and find God even there. There is a famous Kali mantra, Om Krim Kalikai Nama. Devotees chant it for protection, for strength, and for the destruction of inner demons, because the real demons that Kali fights are not the ones on ancient battlefields. They are the ones inside us: fear, jealousy, anger, greed, laziness, and most of all, the ego that makes us think we are separate from the divine. In today's world, the image of Kali is more relevant than ever. In a world that wants everything to be polished and pleasant, Kali reminds us that raw truth is more valuable than comfortable lies. In a world that worships youth and beauty, Kali reminds us that time will take everything, and that is perfectly fine. In a world that fears the feminine, Kali stands as the most unapologetic, powerful, and free expression of womanhood ever imagined. She does not need permission. She does not need validation. She does not fit into any box. She is wild, free, destructive, creative, terrifying, and loving all at once. And she challenges you to be the same. To stop hiding behind masks. To stop pretending to be smaller than you are. To embrace every part of yourself, even the parts the world tells you to suppress. That is the real story of Kali. Not a demon-killing goddess on a battlefield, but the force of truth that lives inside every single one of us, waiting to be set free. The next time you see that image, the dark goddess standing on Shiva, tongue out, eyes blazing, do not be afraid. She is not coming to destroy you. She is coming to destroy everything that is not you. And what is left after she is done, that is your true self.